And so what I want to talk about today is the loneliness, the loneliness of losing everything. Now, I'm going to tell you why I'm encouraged to talk about that today. It's because I was watching a friend of mine. He went on Facebook Live and he was talking about the business side of what's happening now that we have to do another shutdown. And this is probably not going to be the last shutdown. But when I started thinking a little bit deeper, I started remembering a time when I had gone on a show on the Empowerment Hour. And on the show, me as the business consultant, and then we had a therapist come on, and she was talking more to the couple about some of the pain that they may be feeling from a mental health standpoint, right? And I said, hey, you help the brain and I'll help the bottom line. But what I kept hearing from this couple was the loneliness that they were feeling from having lost what the business was providing. Now, I'll get what I'm saying here. It wasn't just the income. In the particular business that they were in, they had constant contact with their customer. And it was the loss of that seemed to affect them the most. And that's where the therapist was coming on and she was talking to them about that part of it. Now, of course, I could send and give all the strategies that I possibly can. And I was doing quite a bit of that. Here's a strategy for this. Here's a way to make the income up. And again, it kept circling back around to, well, our business is, we're in the business of being with our customers, being of service, the contact that we had with our customers. And that started really making me think a lot about this. And again, when my friend went on Facebook Live and he started talking about, hey, listen, remember, of course, the businesses that are losing almost everything, or everything in certain cases, of course they're going to lose the income. But what he suggested was, hey, listen, why don't you just send a personal note, right? Why don't you send a word of encouragement? Don't come in and try to solve my problems. And as a consultant and as an entrepreneur myself, that's one of the first things we want to do. The first thing we want to do is say, hey, listen, I have a solving for that, right? I have a solution to that. And that's kind of how we're wired. But sometimes and this is what he suggested, he said, sometimes people just want to be in their feelings, right? And we know this, men, if you're listening to me out there and you know when your wife or your girlfriend or your loved one, significant other has a problem and the first thing you want to do is go, how can I solve that? And that's not what they need. They just want your ear sometimes. They just want to hear you. So as I started thinking about this and going deeper into it, I started asking myself, is there some underlying thing, the loneliness of losing everything? And that's why I'm having this conversation. It's like we can just, have everything go away. And sometimes people are in business, but they're not making a lot of money, right? We talk a lot about that on my podcast, all that kind of stuff. It's how to make money as you're in business. But sometimes there's underlying reasons why people stay in the business even though it's not making money. It's because they have contact. So if there is any lesson here today is to understand that there is a degree of loneliness that comes from losing everything. And then let's see if we can do something about that loneliness. Can we reach out in the connected way that we are connected right now? We got Zoom everything. We've got FaceTime. We've got all these ways that we can be in touch with folks. There's really no reason for you not to reach out to somebody. Somebody is suffering. I had another good friend of mine who lost a loved one to COVID-19. And that kind of stuff breaks my heart to hear. Now, they don't have a business. They go into a 9-to-5 every day. And on that side of it, they're now losing loved ones. And that's what's affecting them, right? Another degree of loneliness. This loved one happens to be his mom, and then the mom's sister is sick, and then the mom's. There's so many people that in the family. So now think about what's getting ready to happen. this person's going to lose their loved ones and other people around that loved one. The loneliness of losing everything is not just a financial concept. It's not just a conversation about what you may lose from the business side of it. Right? Do you remember back when the economy went to heck in a handbasket? I love that saying my dad used to tell me. Things are going to hell in a handbasket, son. You know? And so I honor you today, Dad, by saying heck in a handbasket at least. You remember when the economy was just going nuts, right? The mortgages were melting down. Real estate was just, I can't tell you. In the stock market, 33% down on this. The real estate market was 50% down. And I was that close to losing everything. But that's something we can get back, right? That's one thing. Now imagine losing parents, and I have lost parents. Imagine losing your kids, and I have lost a son. The loneliness that comes from that, from losing everything, goes way beyond the financial. So I was encouraged when I heard my buddy talk about this online, live, vulnerable, saying, hey, look, my business is doing what it's doing. Suffering along with everybody else, right? But yet, he's basically saying, be of encouragement. And I took notes. I love doing this stuff. And I told him, hey, look, man, I took notes. So one of the notes that I took from his conversation, and Jamel, this is for you, brother. It says, look, don't come in and try to solve things. Right? I understand you may be a spiritual person and you may have a scripture for that. He says, don't try to do that because right now we just kind of want to be in our feelings. And that's not going to help us. Another one that he put down was be around people that put wind inside. Wind under your sails, if you will. Right? That puts air in you. You want to be around people that are going to encourage you. None of those negative Nellies out there that's saying, well, I knew it, or you should have done this. And again, in the entrepreneurship space, as a consultant, you kind of want to go, well, hey, should have saw that coming. Nobody wants to hear that mess. Although you may be thinking it, that's not the time to say it. You want people in your life, like Jermel says, that are going to put air in you, not deflate you. That's what we want. Another thing that I really love is he says, hey, why don't you just ask them, what can I do? And entrepreneurs, I'm going to say this to you guys. Tell them, this is what you can do. This is what we would like from you, right? And at that particular time, again, it's not a solving, it is an asking. And that's why I was encouraged to come on and have this conversation with you. And what thoughts came to me was that loneliness that comes from losing all of that stuff. Those customers coming through the doors, guess what? Those are customers that you interact with, that keep you fired up, that you have a chance to maybe affect their life with the things that you say. And that's fighting off the loneliness. Now, these businesses that are closing are losing that connection to the customer. And if that's your business, let me just tell you, I understand. I work in an office, in my home office all day. So I get a different kind of loneliness, right? But if you are out there in the general public and that's the thing that puts the wind under your sails, what I'm going to suggest is not solving, just suggesting, is that reach out via Zoom, reach out every single day, do these kind of things, do these lives that you can. Just letting people know that you're okay. And if you haven't heard from that friend, like Jamel says, hey, if you haven't heard from somebody, call them up, right? And I laughed out loud when he says, bring them some toilet paper or something, right? That is so good. It's stuff like that we can do every single day that really may be the wind underneath somebody's sails. That may be the air that puts a little something in them, right? When I heard his conversation, what really fired me up was that just in that brief amount of time that he was on that live, it made me feel like, you know what, there's humanity out there. There's people that really love us. There are people that care about us. And people that can even be funny. Thank you for that joke, Jamel. I appreciate it. Right? So let me go ahead and wrap this up by saying, listen, the loneliness of losing everything is absolutely real. And there's a lot of things that you can do to get the necessary help that you need, whether it is talking to somebody in the mental health profession. I know we've got a really good one, Rebecca Span, who does a really good job of just saying, hey, listen, let go of some of this anxiety. Let go of some of this depression. Here are some steps how. She does a fantastic job with what she does over at About You Counseling. So I encourage you, if it's not Rebecca or some other people that she knows, to get in touch with somebody, have that conversation, find those people that just make you laugh, that just put air in you, surround yourself with them. You know, if this kind of stuff livens you up, do more of that. I know for me, when I come on and I'm having a conversation like I'm having with you today, that's the thing that this is the big reset for me. That and cold showers. So, the cold showers is a whole nother story. It might be the breathing. But anyway, so thank you, Wim Hof, for what you do, right? So these are the kind of things that I want to suggest to you. I don't want to try to solve your problems or anything like that. I can't do that. This is not the mode that I'm in. I just wanted to address this loneliness of losing everything and its absolute devastating effects if we don't approach it like the problem that it is. So I suggest to you guys out there, see it for what it is. Do everything you can to get around it. I'm going to tell you, the money will come back. The economy will come back. The income will come back in this way or this new way that you're going to be putting your products out there into the world. This new way that you're going to grow as a result of this one thing dying. The money will come back. We don't want to lose you. We understand that there may be a loneliness. We understand that there may be you losing everything. But we want you to stay upright, stay focused, and keep going. That's my wish for you. And let's talk again soon.